Nite L.O.A.D.
The Late Night Load. Welcome to the Late Night Load.
Hey everybody, Websy here, and it is the Late Night Load. I'm going to give everybody a minute to file in, get going on things, and I'm just here having a small little quiet night. Nothing too big going on. Leprechaun's been feeding me with video ideas all week, and we're going to scroll through, see what he's got going on some of his subjects. Send him my way. I was just reviewing one of his things. So let's go into it.
Technology that are portals in which you can move A to B in space-time. And we're using it on the Earth to go from Alaska to Hawaii.
One that I know of that's been traveled through many times is at the HARP facility. From there to Hawaii, yes, ma'am.
Do you know of any others?
A few, yes, ma'am. There's several in South America. There's one that was discovered at the facility I was telling you about in Arkansas.
If you could name the locations of where these portals are, where would they be?
Let's see, Alberta, Canada. Of course, Alaska, Hawaii. 4 that I've been told in Argentina. 3 in Egypt. 2 that I know of in Australia. What part of Australia I do not know as of yet. There are several portals on this planet that I know of, that I've been told of.
And has anybody said when you go from point A to point B, you're leaving this universe and going to another dimension?
I would say some probably do, but the ones that they have experimented on, the point A being per se, HARP. HARP, there's a portal there. That portal takes you from HARP to right outside of Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. And it's not a lingering travel. Once you step through the plane of water, per se, you're there. It's not like the movie Stargate that you see stars coming at you, clouds of space dust. Once you go through that plane of water, you're stepping on to point B.
So what you're describing is that we're using extraterrestrial technology that are portals in which you can move A to B in space-time. And we're using it on the Earth to go from Alaska to Hawaii.
The one that I know of that's been traveled through many times is at the HARP facility. From there to Hawaii, yes, ma'am.
Do you know of any others?
A few, yes, ma'am. There's several in South America. There's one that was discovered at the facility I was telling you about in Antarctica.
If you could name the locations of where these portals are, where would they be?
Let's see, Alberta, Canada. Of course, Alaska, Hawaii. 4 that I've been told in.
So that's just crazy, right?
In 2016, explorers in Cancun were swimming in a cenote, a natural sinkhole that's formed when bedrock limestone collapses and deep pits of water are created, when they said that someone swam by them. At first, they mistook it for a fellow explorer and diver, but upon further inspection into the cave, they saw that it was a mermaid. Luckily, they had body cameras to capture the majestic creature. This is fitting because some believers have long thought that caves would be the perfect home or hiding place for mermaids. And allegedly, experts who have analyzed the footage claim that it hasn't been edited in any way whatsoever. Number 9. Iceland. In 2013, researchers filming inside of a submarine off the coast of Iceland were stunned when they were about 3,000 feet below the ocean's surface. They would capture footage of a glowing, webbed hand that was pressing up against the glass of their vessel. Dr. Torsten Schmidt was the lead marine biologist on that mission. Schmidt said that when he saw the mermaid, he knew that he was looking into the face of another intelligent species like a human being. Footage captured by an additional camera more clearly reveals the body and face of the creature, and it appears to have large black eyes and a small mouth. In Icelandic culture, the mermaid sits on a rock, lures sailors in with her song, and then quickly disappears forever into the water with the men in her embrace. It's depicted in art all throughout the country. In 2016, explorers in Cancun were swimming in a cenote, a natural sinkhole that's formed when bedrock limestone collapses and deep pits of water are created, when they said that someone swam by them. At first, they mistook it for a fellow explorer and diver, but upon further inspection into the cave, they saw that it was a mermaid. Luckily, they had body cameras to capture the majestic creature. This is fitting because some believers have long thought that caves would be the perfect home or hiding place for mermaids. And allegedly, experts who have analyzed the footage claim that it hasn't been edited in any way whatsoever. Number 9. Iceland. In 2013, researchers filming inside of a submarine off the coast of Iceland were stunned when they were about
So what's the rest?
3,000 feet.
Aliens have been trying to leave us technology for free energy devices for a very long time. Now, if you guys question the authenticity of crop circles, I highly suggest doing some research. If you're too lazy to do the research, I've done it for you, and so is this man. This is Professor William Levengood, and he's been studying crop circles for a very, very long time. Now, what we noticed on the real crop circles is the seeds of the stalks would all explode out of the node, and the crops would coil up like this, and the magnetic energy at these sites is off the chart. Now, with that being said, some are fakes, not all possess these qualities, but when you look into these real ones, it's easy to see that they're trying to give us free energy device. This crop circle is placed in front of a windmill and it displays magnetic wheel energy, something far more sustainable than windmills, and it's also free energy. Here's another magnetic motor that was created off of a crop circle blueprint. And an Italian inventor named Umberto Berdau created this free energy device off this alien-created crop circle blueprint. There is absolutely no doubt that the UFOs are creating these crop circles to help us unlock the secrets of the universe. This one represents our 7 chakras, our 7 energy centers within the body. Unlocking these energy centers will help any individual tap into the secrets of the universe. You'll see many crop circles represent magnetic fields, and all these crop circles are created using extreme mathematical precision and divine sacred geometry. There is no doubt that the UFOs are trying to help humanity reach our full potential. Peace and love. Aliens have been trying to leave us technology.
The Galactic Federation of Worlds has won the battle for planet Earth and our solar system together with the Earth Alliance. This event resulted in the 24-seater races returning. The whole fleet and all ships are parked around Jupiter. Now that all the evil extraterrestrial beings that oppressed and enslaved humanity have been expelled from Earth once and for all, the Great Disclosure can now follow. This is being prepared by the Galactic Federation and the Earth Alliance along with 4-star General Glenn Van Herk under the Blue Ridge Mountains. A device was handed over, which contains the exact disclosure plans, including medical disclosures and free energy for everyone. If everything goes according to plan, this all will happen in 2023 and the world will change forever. The Galactic Federation of Worlds has won the battle for planet Earth and our solar system together with the Earth Alliance. This event resulted in the 24-seater races returning. The whole fleet and all ships are parked around Jupiter. Now that all the evil extraterrestrial beings that oppressed and enslaved humanity have been expelled from Earth once and for all, the Great Disclosure can now follow. This is being prepared by the Galactic Federation and the Earth Alliance along with 4-star General Glenn Van Herk under the Blue Ridge Mountains. A device was handed over, which contains the exact disclosure plans, including medical disclosures and free energy for everyone. If everything goes according to plan, this all will happen in 2023 and the world will change forever. The Galactic Federation of Worlds has won the battle for planet Earth and our solar.
Are you from the old time?
What's the weirdest thing about you?
The weirdest thing about me is that I don't sweat. You guys are the first to realize that I'm really not even a human being. I was constructed in a garage in Palo Alto a very long time ago. People think that, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, they created it.
They don't even know.
Oh, no. I mean, a man whose name shall remain nameless created me in his... Now, I thought he threw away the plans. At least that's what he told me when he programmed me, that there would be no more. I've seen more people that kind of don't sweat and other things that make me think maybe they are part of the new race that he has created, the robot race.
So there's
but,
a cyborg
but I don't,
army,
you know,
is
you
what
got to
you're
cut that. You can't tell anybody this. I don't want anybody to know this.
What's the weirdest thing about you?
The weirdest thing.
What do you know about Antarctica? There's been an archaeological dig there for decades. So they finally found a very large chamber that was filled with stasis pods.
What was in these stasis tubes?
Perfectly preserved biological bodies that if something were to animate it, probably pop right up and move around. They left them there in stasis pods in case of some kind of a later activation.
Do your people know what species?
No less than 3 or 4 dozen different species. We did find some operational jump gates. This is probably one of the oldest intergalactic spaceports on the planet.
Turned from his travels.
Ordinary story. Admiral Byrd heard there was an entrance as he flew over the pole. Suddenly, he's looking at things that shouldn't be there. I mean, it was temperate. His squadron flew under the earth, into the earth. It turns into, can't even believe his eyes. But that's just the beginning of his extraordinary story. He tells how all of a sudden he starts to see a shimmering rainbow city that's...
Believe it or not, this video is from 1915, showing the use of a smoke screen, released to mask the movement or location of military units such as infantry, tanks, aircrafts, or ships. The most common... Do these remind you of anything?
What do you know about Antarctica? There's been an archaeological dig there for decades. So they finally found a very large chamber that was filled with stasis pods.
What was in these stasis tubes?
Perfectly preserved biological bodies that if something were to animate it, probably pop right up and move around. They left them there in stasis pods in case of some kind of a later activation.
Do your people know what species?
No less than 3 or 4 dozen different species. We did find some operational jump gates. This is probably one of the oldest intergalactic spaceports on the planet.
Turned from his travels.
Ordinary story. Admiral Byrd heard there was an entrance as he flew over the pole. Suddenly, he's looking at things that shouldn't be there. I mean, it was temperate. His squadron flew under the earth, into the earth. It turns into, can't even believe his eyes. But that's just the beginning of his extraordinary story. He tells how all of a sudden he starts to see a shimmering rainbow city that's...
Believe it or not, this video is from 1915, showing the use of a smoke screen, released to mask the movement or location of military units such as infantry, tanks, aircrafts, or ships. The most common... Do these remind you of anything?
What do you know about Antarctica? There's been an archaeological dig there for decades. So they finally found a very large chamber that was filled with stasis pods.
What was in these stasis tubes?
Perfectly preserved biological bodies that if something were to animate it, probably pop right up and move around. They left them there in stasis pods in case of some kind of a later activation.
Do your people know what species?
No less than 3 or 4 dozen different species. We did find some operational jump gates. This is probably one of the oldest intergalactic spaceports on the planet.
Turned from his travels.
Ordinary story. Admiral Byrd heard there was an entrance as he...
Did you know? What do you know about Antarctica?
What you're seeing here is Project Bluebeam, high-level advanced holographic projection. You can say in 4D, you can't touch them, but they seem very lifelike, very real. And this is in a stadium. Everyone's filming it. You can see it right there. I think China, for the new year, had the dragons go around the big tower. I'll try and find that clip at some point. But for those of you who are not aware, this is the type of technology that they're releasing on the public now. Imagine...
Have you heard of Project Bluebeam? It's a well-outlined conspiracy that suggests that the secret government is planning a New Age religion. Through technology and organizations like NASA, they will attempt to fake the second coming of Christ to create a one-world government. The theory suggests that the project would involve a virus outbreak, staged alien invasion, an artificial rapture, and a global-scale holographic projection of religious figures like Jesus, Buddha, and Muhammad. Sounds familiar, isn't it? COVID and shot down UFO balloons.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks very much for your patience while we were delayed a little bit. I have a few things to talk about up top, and then we'll get right to your questions. So first of all, to add to information already provided earlier by the White House, at the direction of the President of the United States, fighter aircraft assigned to U.S. Northern Command.
What is the reason for this?
What you're seeing here is Project Bluebeam, high-level advanced holographic projection. You could say in 4D. You can't touch them, but they seem very lifelike, very real. And this is in a stadium. Everyone's filming it. You can see it right there. I think China, for the new year, had the dragons go around the big tower. I'll try and find that clip at some point. But for those of you who are not aware, this is the type of technology that they're releasing on the public now. Imagine.
Have you heard of Project Bluebeam? It's a well-outlined conspiracy that suggests that the secret government is planning a New Age religion. Through technology and organizations like NASA, they will attempt to fake the second coming of Christ to create a one-world government. The theory suggests that the project would involve a virus outbreak, staged alien invasion, an artificial rapture, and a global-scale holographic projection of religious figures like Jesus, Buddha, and Muhammad. Sounds familiar, isn't it? COVID and shot down UFO balloons.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks very much for your patience while we were delayed a little bit. I have a few things to talk about up top, and then we'll get right to your questions. So first of all, to add to information already provided earlier by the White House, at the direction of the President of the United States, fighter aircraft assigned to U.S. Northern Command.
What is the reason for this?
What you're seeing here is Project Bluebeam, high-level advanced holographic projection. You could say in 4D. You can't touch them, but they seem very lifelike, very real. And this is in a stadium. Everyone's filming it. You can see it right now.
Have you heard of Project Stargate? Started by the CIA in 1978, the program was tasked with investigating psychic phenomena. During the Cold War, the US government was convinced the Soviets were spending millions researching supernatural events. The main thing they focused on was remote viewing.
The story in one of the times that I explored actually the base in Antarctica, they had psychic soldiers. So when I remote view, I'm never usually seen by humans or soldiers.
But they can see you.
So they had these soldiers who were also remote viewing.
Have you heard of Project Stargate? Started by the CIA in 1978, the program was tasked with investigating psychic phenomena. During the Cold War, the US government was convinced the Soviets were spending millions researching supernatural events. The main thing they focused on was remote viewing.
We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's complicated.
Pause to read. CIA paperwork time travel.
My neighborhood really was just poor black and poor white, and
Whiteout Survivor. Play free now. A modern day movie. It's footage of a plane laying a smoke screen sometime in the 1920s. As stated at the beginning of the video, one reason that the air service would do this is to hide the bombing plane from the enemy ship, so the enemy ship couldn't fire on it. Another reason these smoke screens, or smoke curtains as they were sometimes called, were used is to hide a ship from an attacking sub. While the ship is safely hidden behind the smoke curtain, bombers could come in and attack the sub. These naval smoke screens were created by releasing the volatile liquid titanium tetrachloride. When it hits the ocean air, it forms these magnificent, dense clouds of titanium dioxide and hydrated hydrogen chloride. The hydrogen chloride immediately absorbs moisture from the air to form an aerosol of hydrochloric acid that scatters light. The highly refractive titanium dioxide is also effective at scattering the light. Ships were probably advised not to go through the smoke since it's highly corrosive. It's not something you'd want to breathe in. Not only can it damage your lungs, it can damage your eyes and lead to surface skin burns. Nonetheless, it created an effective smokescreen that looks pretty cool. True Spirit tells the story of
Cook to learn more.
What is remote viewing?
Remote viewing is the ability to perceive details of a location or an activity that is otherwise shielded to you by it being distant or it being remote in time or space.
What makes remote viewing unique and testable?
Remote viewing is done under controlled conditions. The person who's doing the viewing is blind to the nature of what they're looking at. And it's important that there be an actual thing that you are viewing. And so you need to be able to get feedback at the end to have a loop closure, essentially.
Do you get visions, or how does the information come to you?
It's more of a general perception that's happening. You're getting all sorts of different kinds of detail about the location of the thing that you're looking at. It's not coming in a nice, clean, orderly, visual way.
Is remote viewing an extra sense?
It is a sense that every human being has to varying degrees. The ability or the aptitude for it is distributed in the general population, probably something like musical inclination is. Some people can't play a violin to save their life. Other people, they're 4 years old and they're up on stage and they're blowing your mind.
I'm going to test John and see if he can remote view a location, and I've recruited a volunteer to help.
So I'm going to be trying to do a remote viewing session today, and when you get there, if you could just try to experience that location as fully as possible, walk around, look at things, touch things, listen to things, pay attention to details that are especially interesting, and we'll see how it goes.
Neither John, the volunteer, or myself have any idea where we are going. 3 distinct locations with recognizable landmarks were chosen and photographed. The 3 photos, along with written descriptions, were then placed into sealed envelopes. After a brief meeting with John, we traveled to one of the locations. Again, none of us have any idea where we're going.
Right, so target is Tachyon-Ian.
How are you feeling right now?
Kind of skeptical, to be honest with you. But I'm going to keep an open mind to it.
We're going to declare what we call a water gestalt, which just means that some element of the target may contain predominantly water. Biological is looking at something. There's a sort of a degree of intensity of looking at a particular thing for some length of time.
Right now I see it's got the skyline. I see the waves of the lake coming in.
Descriptors related to the water, that it's energetic, it's propelled.
If you listen carefully, you can hear the water hitting the rocks.
The structure basically delineates edges of a region. So it's like there's some function of this structure that actually is a clear division between regions for some reason. In the middle of all this, there is a very specific upright focal point. It feels essentially permanent.
How accurate do you expect you'll be?
It varies with remote viewing. Sometimes it can be spectacularly on. You can wind up at the end of a session with 3-dimensional clay models that very obviously are the location that you're talking about. Other times it's a complete bust. This is sort of the experience of the in at the site. Typically, you're looking for somewhere between 60+% of the things that are said and identified to be true in order to consider it a hit. And the idea is when it's on, it's really on. Done. I got sucked into this fountain thing, so if they're not a fountain,
To measure how John did, I have asked 5 volunteers to examine his work and compare it to the information in the 3 sealed envelopes. The volunteers have been given 2 tasks. Try to match John's work with the contents from one of the envelopes, and then rank their confidence on a scale between 1 and 5, with 5 being 100% certain and 1 being 0% confident. My hypothesis is that the volunteers will match John's viewing to the chosen location with a high degree of confidence.
I selected envelope 1 and I give it a confidence rating of 5.
I think number 1 is most likely to be this photo, but I'm probably just number 3 confident because the description was too generic.
I selected number 1, level 5 confidence.
I selected number 1. I gave it a 5.
4 out of 5 picked the right location. Only 1 failed to identify the bridge and water.
under the circumstances, this is as good as I think I hope to do, other than an absolute complete hit. That would have been awesome. But
I have to say, John, these results are pretty amazing.
None of the volunteers
Monsters Mastery. What would it be like if you couldn't just come to a game and drop $100, drew all the cards right away? So we explicitly
Look at me, Jaw.
Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Have you ever wondered what is deep down the ocean where humans haven't gotten yet? Let me tell you. Mermaids! From the one just relaxing on a bright sunny day to hundreds of mermaids migrating somewhere, this video features the top 10 mermaids discovered by different people till today. Number 10. Mermaids caught by a drone. When you look at this video, it feels like some dolphins moving together. They might be migrating somewhere, you think to yourself. But are they really dolphins? Most animals on Earth move together to ensure their safety and in order to keep the danger away. And this is exactly what these creatures are doing. Dolphins, or whatever you call them. But take a minute and look at them very carefully. Do they look like dolphins to you? This clip was captured by a drone in Dana Point, California. When it was first uploaded on YouTube, it took the world by surprise. With millions of views, people started talking about it, saying how it is a strong proof for the existence of mermaids. It looks like dolphins at first, but the splashing and water movement show that the creatures have human-like arms. When watched the first time, someone cannot tell whether it is just dolphins or mermaids. But it starts getting clear once you start paying attention. Number 9. The mermaid found in Minnesota. Ever wondered what these scientists are doing all the time? Or if they are hiding something from us like they do in the movies? Well, this video will make things clear for you. It was recorded in the state of Minnesota, where a group of doctors and security guards are spotted doing something suspicious. A guy, when saw these oddly dressed people, he decided to capture what they were doing. If you see the clip carefully, it shows a couple of doctors taking a body up in their arms from the ground. They bring it to the guy standing with a stretcher and put the body on it. After doing it, they go back to the place where they found it and make sure there isn't anything left. Then they leave with no signs of anything unusual happening left behind. Now, I don't know if you noticed it or not, but the tail of that creature totally looked like a mermaid's. Even though the video is not very clear, we can see the tail pretty clearly, and I think it is enough to prove that it was a mermaid. Number 8. Mermaid in Israel. If you are still confused about the existence and non-existence of mermaids, this video will clear away all your confusions. Some tourists in Kiryat Yam, Israel in 2013 were sightseeing when they spotted something unusual sitting on a rock right between the waves. Like you and me, the first thought that came to their mind is that being a seal. The other guy asked, "Is that a seal?" But upon observing it carefully, it got clear that there was no seal sitting on the rock, but a real mermaid. It looked up straight at the boys recording the video and quickly disappeared into the waves. The shape of her tail, the human-like body, the hair and the way it turned to look at the guys, there is no way it was a seal. A seal will just sit there and not leave even if it's spotted by humans recording it. For me, this video was the ultimate proof for the existence of mermaids. Number 7. The mermaid's tail. A fisherman was having his usual day at the ocean when he heard some splashing sounds coming from nearby. He turned and looked in the direction and was surprised to see a big fish-like tail popping up out of the water. It looked like the creature was struggling, or maybe was caught by something. Just the lower part of the creature was visible, and it was a big fish tail. But fishes do not do that, right? That is exactly what the fisherman thought. The upper body was under the water, and it was moving in a very weird way. And the man knew that it needed help, but he did not have the courage to go near it. Well, anyone would be scared because of the stories that are popular about mermaids. Number 6. The Greenland mermaid.
Man, that's crazy.
Clip was captured in Greenland on 6th March 2013. when an underwater vessel went 1,000 miles below the surface of the Earth, under the water. The men inside the vessel felt there was something unusual lurking nearby the vessel. They decided to capture it while looking for it. They could hear its voices coming nearer. There were 2 men in the vessel, one recording and the other with the camera, and they told in an interview later that they were scared as hell at that time. They tried capturing everything and succeeded in getting a glimpse of the creature. The creature must be wandering somewhere and got curious by the lights coming out of the vessel, and that it is when it decided to come closer and say hello to these 2 scared men. Only the hand is visible in this clip, but see it carefully and you will see the resemblance between this one's hand and the hand of the mermaid in the previous clip. Was it the same mermaid? What do you think?
If you have a cryo character, you can do a thing called ice bridging, where you literally make a bridge out of ice. Now,
Number 5. Mermaid in Spain. Usually mermaids are spotted resting on a rock. It is very rare to see them swimming, just like this one. This video was recorded in Mallorca, Spain on the 20th of October 2013, when some people were traveling on a cruise. They were enjoying their tour when one of them saw something sitting on a rock quite far away from the ship and deep between the ocean. The creature looks like a mermaid on a closer look and appears to be relaxing on a rock, sunbathing. Do you think it was a mermaid? Number 4. The underwater mermaid in Israel. Now, I know I just said that it is rare to spot mermaids swimming, but that does not mean it is impossible, just like in this clip. Someone was able to capture the mermaid swimming in the water without it noticing. It was captured in Israel, where a boy noticed from a village that there is a creature which comes near the shore every day at sunset. The boy decided to record it, and he hid a waterproof camera in a spot from where the mermaid was likely to be seen. To his good luck, the mermaid did come at sunset, and the camera recorded its video. This video was also featured on Animal Planet. Number 3. The Dangerous Mermaid. In this clip, fishermen put the fish net in. They feel there is something quite big they have caught in it. They ask one of their fellows to record it as they lift the net up, so they can later show it to everyone. He starts filming his friends. Eagerly they lift the net up to see what big fish they have caught. What they do not know is they are all going to experience something astonishing. As soon as they get the fish net up in the boat, they are all surprised by the creature stuck in the fish net, struggling to get out of it. In its effort to cut the fish net somehow and free itself, the creature starts trying to hit the strange humans it is surrounded with. And that is when we see the hand of the creature, which feels something like a combination of a human hand and a fish's fin. Although the quality of the video is not very good, and the camera keeps focusing out because the cameraman could not hold it still, and the fisherman had to let the creature go because it was too much for them to handle, we can see that it was clearly a mermaid that they caught. And now let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. This image was sent to us by a subscriber. Similarly, if you ever wish to know more about an image you come across, just send it to us. Who knows? We might even feature it in one of our videos. Number 2. The subscriber's pick. This picture is from a very famous mermaid spotting incident where a body, which looked like a mermaid, was washed out by the sea on the shore. People gathered and looked at it in amazement. The body is available to the public in the Marine Biologist Institute. It has hair-like structure, but not human-like hair exactly, but far different from what we have imagined about mermaids. Where most people believe that it is a prop used in the movie Pirates of the Caribbean, no one is completely sure. Number 1. The mermaid found in Florida. A man was walking at the beach after a hurricane hit Florida. He was looking for things that the ocean had washed away with the hurricane when he noticed a human-like body lying still at one side. He was scared and thought that whatever creature that was could be alive, so it was dangerous to go near. But after observing for a few minutes and making sure the body was not moving at all, he moved closer. He was horrified at what he found there. The body was stiff and looked like the creature had been dead for days. It looked completely like a mermaid with half human and half fish-like body. It had hair on its head like women do and a long and big tail like fishes have. This creature, most probably a mermaid, is nothing like the beautiful, intimidating mermaids we have heard about in fairy tales. This is how mermaids are like in real life. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing.
Only 1% of players can pass this game. And challenge accepted. All right.
If you grew up watching The Little Mermaid, you're bound to have wished to see a mermaid in real life. But alas, they don't really exist. Or do they? From a terrifying one found in India, one that was accidentally discovered, to one that literally has a $1 million bounty on its head, here are 10 real mermaid sightings you won't believe are real. Number 10. The Indian Mermaid. Mermaids have always been a popular legendary creature in India. There are lots of stories that have featured mermaids, and it's no surprise that a lot of people have thought that they've seen them lurking in the waters. However, it was this video that shook everyone when it surfaced in 2016. The video showed a half fish, half man type of creature, with the face of a real fish and fins, but the torso was entirely human. The most bizarre part was that the torso even had arms and hands attached. This video was spread all over social media, and there are lots of different theories about what this weird creature is and how it got to the beaches of India. Since the video was anonymously posted, and the mermaid wasn't really turned into the authorities, no one really knows what this mysterious, scary creature is. Whatever it is, it's one freaky being. And if it's real, who knows what else could be lurking in the oceans? Number 9. The Zombie Mermaid. What do you expect to see on a peaceful walk on the beach? A couple of dolphins jumping around, the wind blowing through your hair, and an overall good time, right? That's exactly what Kirsty Jones, a mom from Merseyside, Liverpool, thought was in for her when she went to Hightown Beach with her children in June of 2021. But halfway through the day, she came across something that was way too scary. An entire skeleton of what looked like a mermaid. The skeleton started off with a human-like skull, but not exactly human. It is connected with some ribs and a spine that goes on and on till the very end of what seems to be its tail. She posted the strange finding on social media, trying to figure out just what this strange creature could be. By the looks of it, it's a pretty convincing mermaid skeleton, unless there's a massive human-sized fish we don't know about. Before we move on, we've got a speed challenge for you. If you subscribe to Facts Junkie and hit the bell icon in the next 5 seconds, you'll win 10 years of incredible luck. Give it a shot. It actually works. Number 8. The Mermaid at Curent Beach. While a lot of mermaid sightings in the world are fairly vague, this story is going to blow your mind. In 2009, there were several sightings of a mermaid in Kiryat, Israel. People that were totally unconnected to each other all claimed to have a mysterious mermaid in the waters. They'd all say that they've seen a woman in the water doing tricks, like she was a dolphin. All of the stories claimed that it was a woman for sure, a woman that never comes out of the water entirely. The general public created such a frenzy that the government also got concerned, and they put out a $1 million reward for whoever was able to get any information on this mermaid. It got so crazy that even NBC sent in one of their film crews to the area and scouted for the mermaid too. After days of searching, the crew saw the mermaid too, but she was too fast. All they could capture on camera was darkness. The legendary mermaid is still out there, and the $1 million bounty on her head still exists. Number 7. Kauai Point Mermaid. Some mermaids have only been seen by a person or two, and there's barely any proof of their existence. So you can refute if they really saw what they thought they saw. This case is different. In 1998, professional diver and photographer Jeff Leitcher, along with 6 other divers, was diving in the sunny Kona coast off of Hawaii when they saw a woman swimming with dolphins. That wouldn't be so weird, but the woman was keeping up with the dolphins, swimming faster than they had ever seen a human swim. However, it was when she leapt out of the water that they realized that she wasn't a human after all. Even though she had a woman's torso and long flowy hair, the bottom half of her was covered in scales and tapered off to a fin. She was a mermaid. Acting as fast as he could, Jeff captured a picture of the mermaid, but since he was below her, it's a silhouette instead. The photo has been studied by experts from all over the world, and they all agreed that it's a genuine photo and hasn't been doctored. That, along with the fact that all 7 divers present have the same story about the mermaid, makes this one of the most convincing real mermaid sightings in history. Number 6. The Greenland Sea Mermaid. There are lots of different versions of mermaids that exist all over the world, but this next one will make you rethink how you imagine mermaids would be. And well, they're far from what Ariel was like. In 2013, researchers were on a submarine dive in the Greenland Sea, and although they were just exploring the seabed, what they found was shocking. A real mermaid caught on video. While filming their dive, they caught on 2 separate cameras a creature touching the glass of their submarine, pausing there for about a millisecond before swimming away. They claimed that it was a mermaid, and well, from the looks of it, it looks like a pretty scary, alien-y mermaid that we would not want to see when we're having a fun day at the beach. Number 5. The Minnesota Mermaid. There's one thing we can all agree on. It's that the governments throughout the world do things that the general public doesn't know about. But could these things include secret mermaid experiments? That might be the case, because this video shot by an Australian tourist in Minnesota caught exactly that. He was relaxing on a fairly empty beach when he noticed 2 large vehicles pull up, and from them emerged men in hazmat suits. They walked over to the beach and pulled out a body from the water. If that wasn't weird enough, the body was a regular human up top, but instead of legs, they had a green tail. They took the mermaid-looking body, put it on a stretcher, and took it away. Who these men were and what they did with the mermaid is still a mystery to this day. Number 4. The legendary Kai Islands Mermaid.
Magic, monsters, mastery.
It's time for me to get set up for therapy, and I use this room as my office. But the desk is over here, and so when I'm seated at the desk, this is the background. I have my therapy session, which is virtual.
There are many stories from World War II that are terrifying to hear, and one of these is from the Kai Islands of Indonesia. Japanese soldiers stationed on the island in 1943 were always hearing stories about mermaids, and they thought that the local villagers had been making it all up, until they encountered one themselves. They had seen what they called orange ikan, which translates to manfish. It was a 150 centimeters tall half-man, half-fish, with light pink skin, spikes all along its spine, and a mouth that strangely looked like a carp's. Several soldiers had seen the orangutan in real life, and since they looked very scary, they even tried to shoot them. The units even tried to get a few researchers involved, but since there was an active war going on, it was impossible for them to pull it off. And because of that, the legendary Kai Islands mermaids have stayed legendary. Number 3. Main Island Mermaid. Ferries go past Main Island all the time, and it was like that in the 1960s too. One ferry in 1967 went by a creature that could only be described as a mermaid. The tourists on the boat claimed that they all saw a woman with dimples and long blonde hair sitting by one of the beaches. What was special about her was that she had a tail instead of legs, and she was just sitting there, snacking on a giant salmon. This could have been an easy-to-dismiss story, but one of the tourists actually managed to get a photo of her too. Now, half the people that see the photo think that it's just a regular woman pretending to be a mermaid, while the other half claims that she has got to be a real mermaid. No one really knows which side is correct, because once these pictures got out, the mysterious mermaid mysteriously disappeared and was never seen again. Number 2. California Mermaid. In April of 2017, the authorities at Table Mountain in Fresno County went in to check up on a woman at a local beach. When they went there, they found her to be entirely naked. She claimed to be a mermaid named Joanna that washed up on the shore. The woman was said to be anywhere between 16 and 30 years of age and had webbed toes. What's weirder is that when the police went in to take her fingerprints and identify her, nothing came up. It's like the woman, or the mermaid, has never existed. Number 1. Zimbabwe Dam Mermaid. In 2012, underwater construction workers were called in to work on a blockage in the Zimbabwe Dam, but every time a worker went down there, they'd come up terrified. They'd say that they had seen a terrifying mirror creature, and even for all the money in the world, they wouldn't go back in there. Even though the agriculture of the area depended on that drain being fixed, and a lot of money was offered to fix the dam, workers kept going in and practically running away. The authorities even hired people from a totally different region, thinking that maybe the local stories were making the workers think there was a mermaid there. But even those workers would say the same thing and refuse to return. To this day, no worker has managed to go in there and actually fix the issue with the dam, because the mermaid that lives there is far too terrifying. Alright, comment below what you think about these crazy mermaid sightings. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Facts Junkie, and we'll see you in the next one.
Would you tell your gold digger girlfriend that you're about to inherit $1 billion?
Alex, why would you take on another humiliating...
Five very strange things about Antarctica. It was Captain James Cook who was credited for discovering Antarctica when he crossed the Antarctic Ocean in 1773. Since then, various explorers have become fascinated by the large ice-covered landmass. Over the years, it has become a place of fascination and mystery, and these are five very strange things about Antarctica. Number 5. Ancient civilizations live there. In the present day, Antarctica is still considered a vast desert, home to strange animals and very few humans who are at best temporary residents. But despite being desolate, recent discoveries by NASA are pointing to the possibility Antarctica may have once been inhabited by ancient civilizations. As more of the ice sheets melt, experts believe it's slowly revealing many of the once buried secrets Antarctica holds. For example, NASA satellite images captured an unusual area some 1.5 miles beneath the surface, showcasing what could be a possible human settlement. The images showed strange markings that looked man-made, as if structures once stood there. In the image, you can make out squares and canals of some sort. Others are even saying it looks to be a pyramid-shaped structure. Many archaeologists believe if this is evidence of human settlement, there could be much more hiding underneath the thick sheet of ice under the region. But how could such an inhospitable climate accommodate life? Well, one theory suggests that Antarctica was once a flourishing and green land, or at least not as cold or covered in snow as we see it now. There are even theories saying that it could be where the mythical island of Atlantis was once located, and if so, other civilizations could have existed in the area as well. One proof pointing to the possibility of Antarctica being once inhabited is that of the Perry-Reese map, which shows its coastline without snow. Credited to the Turkish admiral Perry-Reese, the map is believed to be a copy of various ancient maps and assembled sometime in the 1500s. On it, it shows the landmass of Antarctica located more towards the east than it is now. It shows less snow and ice coverage as well. In the book, Maps of the Ancient Sea Kings, Dr. Charles Hapgood published the Perry-Reese map, and it shocked many because of how it captured Antarctica's coastline without any ice. When the map was first discovered, a Turkish naval officer sent it to the U.S. Navy Hydrographic Bureau in 1953 so it could be examined. It was the chief engineer, M.I. Walters, who then sent the map to Arlington Mallory so he could see if it was accurate. He stated the map was indeed correct and could have been copied from another one that was more than 6,000 years old. The Perry-Reese map's coastline of Antarctica shows it's accurate, just like what the coastline looks like underneath the ice today. Seismic sounding and sonar were used to create a coastline and mountain ranges of Antarctica underneath the ice, and this accurately matched those showing on the Perry-Reese as well. Considering how the ice cap in the same region now measures up to a mile thick, it's a puzzle how anyone in the past or what technology was used to map the coastline of the region before. But even if there was proof of ancient civilizations found, the question still remains, what kind of people once thrived in such an area, and what happened to them? If they were there, then it's only a matter of time before we find out more about them. Number 4. Flat Earthers Ice Wall.
I
am so excited to show you what we've been working on for the last 4 years. Marvel Snap is the culmination of everything we've learned about making super fun card games combined with the power of the Marvel Universe. The cards focus on the heroes and villains of the Marvel Universe, and every card in Marvel Snap has a unique ability. There's never been a game like Marvel Snap, and we're so excited to share it with you.
In the popular series Game of Thrones, one of the primary stories revolved around the Wall, a huge man-made structure keeping the sinister White Walkers from getting into Westeros. But in real life, flat earthers believe there is an actual ice wall surrounding the Earth and that it's found in what we know as Antarctica. And above all, they want to prove it. Flat earthers believe that instead of a sphere, the Earth is actually flat. They point to several reasons. First, they say images showing the curved horizon of Earth is fake, and so are the photos of the round Earth from space. They believe these are part of a large conspiracy run by NASA and specialized government agencies, as well as the elite. For them, the Earth is flat, and it's the sun and moon that orbit the Earth, lighting it in certain parts and creating day and night. Perhaps one of the most unusual beliefs they have is the idea that there's an ice wall kept secret from the rest of the world by horrible government forces. They believe Antarctica isn't a continent at all, but instead the outer edge of Earth's wall. They claim ordinary people are prevented from ever heading to Antarctica and finding out that it's there. In 2020, though, a group of flat earthers say they will take a cruise around Antarctica to help search for the ice wall and prove their belief correct once and for all. Those in the Flat Earth Society say that this wall is several thousand feet thick and can tower up to 160 feet high and is said to surround the entire planet. While the details for the 2020 trip are being kept under wraps, many are expressing excitement, some bafflement, while others are voting to join the trip. According to a YouGov survey, about 52% of the people who believe the Earth is flat thought of themselves as incredibly religious. As a whole, though, the majority of Americans believe the Earth is round, with just about 4% believing the Earth is flat. The majority of them are between 18 and 24 years old. So it remains to be seen whether there is indeed an ice wall in Antarctica. We will need to wait to see if flat earthers will be able to prove their belief correct or ultimately disprove it in the coming years. Number 3, pyramids in Antarctica. Being a land full of mysteries, it's no surprise the idea of pyramids existing in Antarctica might not be too far-fetched. Sometime in 2016, the internet became inundated with an image of what looks to be a pyramid structure photographed amidst the ice-covered location. This structure is said to be located 10 miles inland. The story goes that a team of 8 explorers found evidence that there are currently 3 man-made pyramid structures just peeking through the thick frozen Antarctic ice. Well, the entire story about the pyramid or whatever findings the team discovered in the area haven't been disclosed. Bits and pieces, including supposed pictures, have been leaked. If these are indeed ancient pyramids underneath all that ice, it could change our perception of Antarctica and rewrite our human history. The greatest example of pyramids are those found in Egypt. Although many of the modern Egyptologists suggest the Giza structures were built around 2,000 to 3,000 years ago, other Egyptologists believe the pyramids are actually much older than that. This includes the Great Sphinx. Some estimate it could be as old as 10,000 years. Experts who have examined those pyramids state the climate in the area changed from rainy and hot to an overwhelming desert over the course of several thousands of years, and that signs of water erosion on the Sphinx prove that it had to have been there longer than 2,000 or 3,000 years. Of course, there are skeptics that don't believe the structures in Antarctica are pyramids at all, but instead natural mountains that have eroded over time. The pyramid shapes are located in a place known as Ellsworth Range. The area is known for its rich fossilized remains, including trilobite fossils, creatures that lived about 500 million years ago. According to geologists, it's possible to have pyramid-shaped mountains occur naturally. They point to freeze-thaw erosion as a possible culprit for creating such types of natural structures. They also point to the Matterhorn in the Alps as one similar result of this process. On top of that, the area where the supposed pyramid is located is close to a popular mountain that climbers use all the time. So skeptics argue that if it is indeed a pyramid, others before would have noticed it already. Today, the verdict is still out if whether the structures are true pyramids or not. There's no update if there's an expedition happening to prove it once and for all either, so it might be a while before we get true answers.
Welcome to Call of Dragons. I'll be your guide to the land of Tamaris. Today we're going to take a look at the map for Season 1 and show you how you can rise to the top during the first season. Season 1 of Call of Dragons takes place in the land of Tamaris.
Number 2, secret government bases. Perhaps one of the most unusual entries in this collection is the idea that secret Nazi bases and even a super fortress were built by the Nazis somewhere in Antarctica. This idea was originally proposed by a Hungarian exile from Argentina named Ladislas Szabo in 1947. He suggested the German ship Schwabenland had gone to Antarctica in 1938 and had put up a base for the Nazis there. According to him, Hitler had survived the war, and that the U-boats docked in Argentina during the time had taken the dictator to the secret base. What makes this story unusual is that most of it is actually factual. While it's unproven whether there is a secret base, the events outlined by Szabo coincides with the Nazis' actions. Of course, there are several versions of the story. One of the simplest is that the Germans created a hidden base in the cold region, and during the defeat in World War II, some hid there for years. Meanwhile, more extreme versions state that the Nazis encountered alien life or technology while in Antarctica, and they have built their base around this. Many who believe the theory say that the base isn't just a refuge for escaping Nazis, but that it contains super weapons as they prepare to fight back in the future. Conspiracy theorists further add that years after the war, submarines brought in food, clothing, and fuel for the shelter. The base remained nameless, and in fact, its coordinates were even kept a secret as well. Szabo points out that even though there are no images or photos, eyewitness testimony like that from German naval commander Admiral Donitz, who served the president for a month in 1945, claimed to have told people in the Nuremberg trials that the Nazis were successful in creating an invulnerable fortress, a paradise-like oasis in the middle of eternal ice. Then the prolonged presence of both the American and British military in Antarctica around 1947 only added fuel to the story. Others claim both the U.S. and Britain tried to attack the secret base several times but failed in destroying it. It was only after supposedly dropping 3 atom bombs over the base in 1958 that they finally succeeded. As mentioned, the rumor of a Nazi base in Antarctica has been around for decades. Articles and books have been published about it by many conspiracy theorists. But the story resurfaced again in 2017 when U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry visited Antarctica. Those who proposed the theory said he did so in order to examine the remains of the secret base. Over the years, neo-Nazi writers claim the Nazis did survive the attacks done by the coalition forces and are biding their time to re-emerge when the time is right from their Antarctic base. So for now, we'll just have to wait and see. Number 1, UFO crash. When a popular YouTube conspiracy theory channel, Secure Team 10, published that they found a UFO crash in Antarctica, the internet went wild. Gathering more than 760,000 views, the video claims an image captured on Google Earth is actual evidence of a UFO crash landing in the snowy Antarctic region. The photo taken by satellite shows a mountainous area filled with snow just along the coast of Antarctica and the Atlantic Ocean off South George Island. In the image, it shows a large block of something appearing to have slid across the snow and disrupting the otherwise smooth landscape. You can clearly see a trail behind the object as well. Although the amount of trail seems to be short, if you zoom out, you can clearly see a larger trail leading back up to the mountain peak. If it was a UFO, it seems as if it hit the mountain first, then slid down the snow before coming to a halt. The presenter of the video states the UFO is an elongated cigar-shaped object that can be seen covered in ice and snow. Of course, the channel has a less than stellar reputation and is even accused by conspiracy theorists for creating sensationalist, poorly researched videos. But there are those who believe they could be onto something. Even though it's controversial news, this isn't the first time a UFO crash is said to have been spotted in Antarctica. Another photo of a supposed crashed UFO showed something buried in the smooth snow, measuring around 65 feet wide and 230 feet long. There's a long trail behind the structure as well. What's unusual is that there's an array of what looks to be tanks guarding it. If it is a UFO, then maybe some forces out there could be hiding the truth from the rest of the world. So there were 5 very strange things about Antarctica. Antarctica may be covered with ice right now, but as temperatures rise and it slowly melts away, it's possible it could eventually reveal all its once hidden secrets to us. Please remember to subscribe to our channel if you enjoy watching this video. With new ones coming out of...
All right, and that's it for the night. It's been an hour. We're just checking in. This is all the stuff we normally talk about and stuff. This is just, where we get our information and what we see, and we accumulate data and stuff. So just let tonight's show just be one of those reviews where we just show you where we get a lot of our talking points and stuff. So that'll be it for tonight. Just a quick run through. Clarksville Hobby Depot still having a sale over there with that drone, a 1080 drone. Go ahead and get that. Head over there, let them know that we sent you with the code Syndicate 10. And then G Syndicate 10, I believe. Double check with me tomorrow. And if you're trying to get a hold of us and stay in touch with us and get the freshest videos all the time, whenever we're live or whenever we're driving, hit it out. This QR code and link in the description chat will definitely hit you over to our page on YouTube where you can support us. Then, if you want to support our buddy Leprechaun, here's a link to his Twitch channel where he'll be playing video games and hanging out. Then, I know it's just a bunch, right? Our buddies over at Kip Ash Gundam, the community page, we want to hit them up. And this is where one of our headquarters of operations. So if you want to see them, hit that up and have a great time. And we'll talk to you guys later.